Hi, my name is David Rhodd from Limitless Solutions Financial Group, and today we're going to talk about what is private lending? What is real estate private lending? What is mortgage lending? Are they the same? Are they different? I want to give you some tips on how you can figure out what it is and how to get involved and see if it's right for you. So stay tuned and let's get right into it. Okay, so what is private lending? What is real estate private lending? So probably from the sentence that I just said, you probably understood it. It's private lending against a real estate asset. So let me break that down even further. Private lending is when an individual like myself or you or a company lends their money against a home, a real estate asset. This could be for real estate investing. This could be just to help the homeowner out. There's so much different ways how to do it. Now, most people that I come across, they might not have heard about private lending, but they do understand what a mortgage is, right? And how the banks and credit unions and monoline lenders and trust companies will lend you a mortgage against your home to refinance, to purchase it, to pay for renovations, to finish a basement or something like that. This is the exact same concept of private lending. You're doing exactly what the banks are doing. It's just the only difference is you are now becoming the bank and you're able to lend your funds to a homeowner to help them meet the same goals that the bank is usually helping them meet. So what do I mean by that? So usually when you're looking to purchase a home, the typical structure is, you go to a mortgage broker like myself, you go to a bank, you go to some institution that has funds to lend you money. What they normally do is they check your credit, they check your income, they check that you have a down payment, and they see if one of their programs can fit you. They see if you meet the parameters of what they're willing to lend to a person to purchase a home or to get onto whatever goal it is, whether it's your refinance or whatever. So in certain situations, there are individuals, and this happens quite often, there are individuals that do not meet the guidelines of the institution that they're dealing with. Because the institution, has governance, they have shareholders, they have rules and regulations, and they have a certain type of client that they want to lend to. And not everyone meets that bucket. So what happens to those people? What, you don't get a home? You don't pull out the equity to refinance or invest or anything like that? No, that's not what happens. You can now go to a private lender. When you go to a private lender, you are approaching an individual like myself. You usually find them through mortgage brokers. There's mortgage investment corporations. There's different funds that do private lending. So you usually approach someone and you say, look, I have a home or I want to get a home. This is what my profile looks like, credit, income, and down payment. It didn't work out with the financial institution I was trying to get a mortgage with. Can you help me? I'm a good person. I make money. I can pay my bills. Can you help me? I may not show my income because of XYZ, right? Because of this, because I have a cash job. My credit score is low because, I went through a divorce. I had to travel for a family emergency and I didn't pay my bills, or, my credit was compromised through fraud and it's reflected here, right? I have a down payment. It's here. So these are the things that we look at as private lenders. So let me speak from my perspective as a private lender. As a private lender, I'm looking at, does this deal make sense? Will I lose my money when I lend it on this deal? How will I get my money back? That's what I'm looking at. So I'm not looking at, so typically, like when I put my mortgage broker hat back on, when I'm working with a client and I'm trying to send their deal into one of the institutions that I deal with, we're looking at GDS and TDS. That means gross debt service ratio and total debt service ratio. What does that mean? That means that, do they have a lot of car payments? Do they have student loans? Do they have all these bills? Is their credit score 680 and above? Do they have a down payment? Is it sitting in their account for 90 days? Where did the down payment come from? Is it from a friend? Is it from any, is their income stable? Is how long have they been at this job? I'm looking at all those things when I'm trying to submit it to a lender. Okay. When I'm looking at it from a private lender perspective, so I'm taking that broker hat off and now I'm putting on my private lending hat. I'm looking at it as, okay, we're lending on this property. It's a purchase. They're going to be putting 20% down. So that means if I lend them money, there's enough equity in there to make sure that I recover my money. That's one. Where is the property located? Is it in a nice area? If needed, can we sell this property and get our money back? This client, do they have the ability to make the payments to me? Do they have that ability, right? Or are they just going to get into the house and then go in default after 2 or 3 months? What is the exit? At what point am I going to get my money back? Am I going to get my money back in 1 year? When they change their job? Am I going to get my money back in 2 years when they plan to sell the property? So as you can see there's a difference between the mortgage broker hat, and making the ratios fit, and stuff like that, and the private lending hat. The private lending hat, I would dare to say it is a more common sense lending, right? Which there's nothing wrong with the lending hat. The lending hat, it's more, do you fit in these guidelines? Here are the guidelines, do you fit into them? Sometimes we can stretch them a bit, but can you fit into these guidelines? Not everyone can fit into these guidelines. With the private lending hat on, it's more about common sense. Am I going to lose my money? Is my money going to be secured? Am I going to get my money back? Can this client afford to pay me? So once I make that decision that yes, I'm willing to lend my money to this client, obviously we do this through lawyers and everything like that. I have the same rules that the bank has. I have the same rules. So meaning when I lend my money, it's registered on title. So if you're to pull a search on a property that I lent against, you will see David Rhodd or some sort of incorporated company lent $100,000 on this property. That's exactly what you're going to see. In the event of the client not paying me, just like how the financial institutions can eventually put you into foreclosure, I can now do the exact same thing. What else is there? My money goes to the lawyer. The lawyer doesn't release it to you until it's registered on title. That's what we just spoke about. So I'm secured. So in the event you don't want to talk to me, in the event you try to sell your home and I'm out of the country or I'm someplace else, I'm going to get my money because it's on title. And when you sell, you have to pay off all mortgagees on title. And I'm one of the mortgagees. So I get my money back. So I'm kind of like giving you a broad view of private lending. And as you go through more videos, you have to subscribe and like on this channel to go through these more videos. But as you go through more videos, I'm going to dive in more detail of what private lending is, how you can get involved as an investor if you want to get involved. If you're a borrower and you need private lending, what you need to do, how to get private lending, access, you can contact me. But yeah, so we're gonna go through that in future videos and talk more about it and really just dissect it, because what I realize is that not a lot of people know about private lending and how they can get involved as an investor. A lot of people feel that it's strictly for the financial institutions, for the bigger bodies out there, the bigger financial institutions, governing bodies of banks and stuff like that. That's what a lot of people feel, but it's a mom and pop can do this. There's a lot of mom and pops that do this. It's another asset class that you can look at outside of stocks and mutual funds and direct real estate investing. This is a way to invest in real estate, which it is. It's real estate investing, private lending. That's what you want to call it. But it's actually investing in mortgages, right? So a lot of people don't know about how you can invest in mortgages and how you can become the bank. And you see how successful banks are and trust companies are and credit unions. You see how successful they are. They make a lot of money by lending out mortgages. So it is, from an investor's point of view, it is a very profitable investment. From a borrower's point of view, if you don't fit in the guidelines of the banks, it's something that you want to get into. Yes, you're going to have to pay a higher interest rate for sure, right? You're going to have to pay a higher interest rate, but in most cases you're paying interest only. So, it works out because, you still get to buy that home that you were looking for. You still get to pull out that money to renovate. You still get to pull out that money to invest. All these different reasons, it still fits a checkbox, right? So it does have a place in our market. And from the investor standpoint, we like to create win-win situations. We want to make it a win for you. We want to make it a win for the investor. The investor wants to earn, above average return, more than what they're getting with their money sitting in idle in a bank, or more that they're getting in the stock market or something like that. I can help someone else out by helping them accomplish their goals. So we create that win-win situation. So in a nutshell, that is what private lending is all about. Private lending is individuals like myself, whether it's me by myself, whether it's me and a friend, whether it's me in a corporation. However, it's lending you money against collateral, which is the real estate, right? So that's why we call it real estate private lending. And although it's a mortgage, we're having our lawyers register it as a mortgage so that we are protected, right? So that our funds are protected. So that in the event you sell or you refinance or anything, our funds will be paid out, regardless if we're talking or regardless where I am in the world or anything like that. Our funds will be paid out through our lawyer so that, we're not in this game to lose money, right? So we're in this game to create a win-win, as I mentioned, to help, but not in this game to lose, right? And again, this is not investment advice or anything like that. So I just want everyone to know that, speak to your securities lawyer and your investment advisor and all kinds of stuff. Just make sure we get all those disclaimers out of the way so I don't get sued or anything like that. But, anyways, so yeah, if you want to talk more about mortgages and private lending, feel free to reach out. You can comment below or something like that and I can answer your questions personally. But in a nutshell, this is what private lending is in real estate. It's a very good investment. It's been around for years. It's been around. It's not public knowledge as much, I would say. You've got to come in contact with like a mortgage broker, or maybe your family's already into it, but it's not something that you're going to see advertised on television. It's not something that you're gonna gain access to by walking into your bank or sitting with your financial advisor and asking them, hey, how do I make more money? It's not something that you're going to hear about. But it is something that you should definitely investigate and see if it's a fit for you to want to grow your funds that way. Once again, my name is David Rhodd. I really hope you found this information valuable. If you did, prove it to me. Like, subscribe. I'll be releasing videos on a weekly basis. And this is really just to give you more education, to help you learn, to help you grow your wealth, because this is what we're all about behind the financial wall. My name is David Rhodd, and I'll speak to you soon.